What's up, everybody? This is Kenny Cummins here of Chilling with Kenny C, right here on TMVCafe.com, bringing you entertainment to your ears. And I'm joined with an individual who's been on the show before.
I
Once
have.
upon a time, he was known as Idolize of the Kentucky Villains.
Yeah, yeah.
Now, he's moved on from music and has become a full-time comedian, making a name for himself. He's definitely trying to put the word out on the comedy scene here in Lexington and Central Kentucky in general. He now goes by the name of Big Dumb Chris. He's
Absolutely,
with me
man.
right now, man. Welcome back to the show.
Hey, glad to be here, man. Glad to be here. Thanks for having me.
And so, yeah, Chris here was definitely one of the first musicians that I went into when I first entered the music scene. I was going to the shows with Kentucky Villains, especially at the Owl's Bar.
Yeah,
Had a
Al's
lot
bar
of
was hype.
fun there. And his music has been featured on the show in the past. And I found out he was doing comedy about a year or two ago. I know you kind of been like away from music, focusing on other things, and then you're getting into comedy. So with
Uh,
all that being said, man, what led you into becoming a comic?
um, there's a couple of things, man. First off, I mean, I broke my back and shattered my hip, man. I had an accident.
Mm,
And that kind of like I realized I couldn't perform again after that. Not like I used to anyway. You know what I mean? So
yeah,
like that, and on top of that, man, I've always like cracked jokes and stuff, and like even while doing music between like songs, man, would make a
yeah.
joke or something. You know what I mean? I've always tried to make people laugh. So it and I've been through so many wild situations and stuff as well that I just got the stories. You know what I mean? Like I'm a storyteller. So
Gotcha. Yeah, and you've always had a sense of humor. You've always had jokes
yeah,
between songs, and then that definitely felt like comedy was felt like a something that you was eventually going to get into. And then I start seeing your bits. I start seeing you getting into it and doing shows and making your way into different places, man.
yeah.
So how's it feel, man? Just getting the swing of things, being doing shows here and there, getting the
And
stand-up gang going. How's it feeling?
I love every bit of it, man. The thing about comedy is it's multitudes harder than music. I'll tell any musician that. I've been a musician, man, and as a musician, you're up there and you are vulnerable, but you can always hide behind the music. You always can. If you got a badass beat, you can quit rapping and people are still gonna ride with you. You know what I mean? Like you really can. But with comedy, like you have nothing to hide behind. It's just you. So it's super like vulnerable on stage. I love it. It's the hardest thing I've ever done in my life. Hands down.
You are absolutely right, man. Like with music, man, like okay, as long as you got that confidence just to know word for word, you'll be okay.
Hmm.
But with comedy, you got no beat, you got no ad libs, you got none of that.
Yeah.
It's just you talking.
Yeah, and every
And
night's different too. Like it's never
yeah,
one set's never the same as another one. And with music that's kind of true, but not to the same extent. Like it can go a show can go completely left and you have to talk to somebody in the audience for 10 minutes. You know what I mean? Like it can go completely somewhere that you didn't plan on it going. So like with music that hardly ever happens. You know what's that, a fight? You know what I mean? If a fight
yeah.
breaks out, then you got to stop your set. That's the only time that happens in music. I don't know, it's wild, man. Comedy's wild. It's a wild game.
So do you think your experience as far as performing music do you feel like that prepared you for you to get into stand-up comedy?
It made it easier because like I was already over the fear of stage so much, the way some people get up and they're afraid to be on the stage. Like I didn't have that part. Now I did have like the first time I ever did music, I had butterflies real bad. The first time I performed. After that, I never had them anymore. But with comedy, I had butterflies for like the first 5, 6 months in the comedy, man. Every time I got up on stage, like I don't know, the difference of it was a little different, but it did. I was smoother transitioned into it. Like a lot of people told me, even now, that I feel like a much more experienced comic than I am, and that's because I did 5, 6 years of music. You know what I mean? I had some of the performance part already there, and no fear of the crowd.
So obviously, with music, you performing, you vibing, everybody's having a good time. With comedy, you're just trying to get some reaction to the crowd and get the laughs going. Now, with comedy, whether you're a local comic or you a well-known comic, you're gonna have your share of hecklers. You're
Oh
gonna
yeah.
have your share of. So have you dealt with any hecklers per se since you got started into stand-up comedy?
The worst thing I've dealt with so far has been like somebody talking real loud. Trying to do their own thing.
Yeah.
I've had those several times, and I've experimented with different ways to deal with them. It's always a fun experience, though. But I haven't had anybody like belligerent, like I ain't, nobody throw nothing at me or want to fight or anything like that. I haven't had anything to that extent. I'm not looking forward to those wanting to fights and stuff, man. I don't know. I'm
Yeah.
not start carrying a police baton, on stage. It's out in the open, man. Somebody comes to me, I'm just gonna stab, just right off the top of the head.
I'm gonna tell you. I'm gonna tell people this now. Like for as long as I've known you, like you getting the hang of it. You getting real comfortable. You getting real confident. The last person you want to heckle is Chris, because he he he'll come ham on you. He'll hit you hard like a ton of bricks. I'm telling you, man. If
We've
you
we've had some, man. We've had some. I never
yeah.
had anything too bad in music either. I did go to one show where somebody got stabbed, but I didn't see it. That was Akron. But usually there weren't even fights at our shows, man. We've had a few little conflicts where there was almost fights, but out of all the shows I performed, there was hardly ever anything. I think you breed environments to an extent. You know what I mean?
So, from my experience going to comedy shows, whether it's comedy off Broadway or Web Arena, my least favorite part is people trying to start a conversation while the comic is trying to do his or her job. And I'm like, man, if you want to talk, man, take that outside. Like,
Yeah. Well, the worst
I,
part about it is they ruin everybody around them's experience too. Like if somebody's talking like that, the person beside them that's trying to listen to the joke can't hear. You know what I mean? That's the rudest part about it. If it was just they were talking over me, oh, you know what I mean? If it was me and them in a room, whatever. But it's the ruining the next person's experience that like
yeah,
that's the reason it ticks me off.
yeah, and I'm always happy when a comic notice it and just say, "Hey, motherfucker,"
Yeah.
cuss them out or something, just to be like, "Hey, man, you paid your money to see me."
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
Yeah. I go
it's
at them pretty hard.
yeah,
Not horribly hard, but I had a lady talking over me once and I had to call her 3 times to get her attention. She was talking so much. With the whole rest of the crowd, I told them to shush, and they laughed and got real quiet. And with them real quiet and me literally hollering at her the microphone to me 3 times to get her attention. And I was like, "Do you got any jokes?" And she said, "Yeah," and started to tell me one. I said, "Not right now." I said, "But after my set, I'm pulling you up on stage and you're going to tell them a joke." And then she it didn't go well. She told them some old doofy joke, you know what I mean, that she'd heard. But I like messing with people a little bit.
yeah, that's good. I like that approach. I feel like if you're gonna talk over people and a comic call you out, I
Yeah.
think that should bring them to the stage and
Yeah.
try to do what you do for a living,
Yeah.
because it's not an easy task.
Mm-mm.
It's tough. It's really tough.
I
Uh,
think anybody can do it though. I think anybody's got 5 minutes of comedy in them. I believe that.
I might have one a good joke in me, and then I'm just talking. It's just I'm not
Yeah,
a
but I mean, really, like the way I do comedy, Kenny, I'm just telling like embarrassing situations or like stuff that you really wouldn't want to tell anybody else. You know what I mean? Like the stuff that you think of that I shouldn't tell nobody that. That's what I tell people on stage is that stuff. You know what I mean? So
Yeah. So I want to get to a serious question with you.
hell yeah.
So as far as comedy, it definitely feels like, as far as today's comedy in particular, it gets challenging. It's getting a lot more challenging as far as what you can say, what you can't say. You don't want to offend anybody. I feel like, you know, with comics, man, they have it the hardest, and all they trying to do is just make you laugh. Sometimes some things will rub people the wrong way or whatever. Like sometimes you just gotta suck it up sometimes. I feel like we maybe we get a little too quote unquote sensitive over some things. Like I've heard some things in shows, I'll be like, damn, he really said that.
Damn.
And then, but hey, it's not targeted at me or anything like that. I'll be like, yeah, I've definitely heard some outlandish things. But hey, comments got to do what a comments got to do. So how do you handle that handle what you want to say, what you can't say? Like, do you just
Are you
hesitate?
allowed to
Yeah,
cuss on your show?
I mean, yeah, go ahead, man, go
Fuck
ahead.
all that shit, bro. That's the exact reason why I even started, like hosting shows myself, is because like I play with topics that when I first say them, people do feel some type of way. And because like if I'm telling a series of jokes, like if I go out to the open mic and I got 5 jokes, if one of those jokes, and it's a brand new something ideal I'm playing with, if one of those jokes makes the crowd go and pearl clutch, that's the joke I start working on. Because if you can make people feel something, you can make them laugh hysterically at that something. But the first time I tell it, yeah, I've got kicked out of 6 or 7 places, open mics, and told not to come back here with my comedy because of some of the topics that I play with. And when they're early in the joke, sometimes they go over that line. But I like being all over that line. I think you can say anything on stage if it's funny enough. Like depending on how fucked up the topic is, it's got to be funnier than how effed up it is. You know what I mean? Like if you can make it funnier than how effed up it is, like the audience, see, it might piss one person in the audience off, but forget them. They're not a fan of comedy anyway. If you're at a comedy show and you're looking at a guy and you know for a fact that he got paid and got up there to try to make you laugh, and you get offended because he was trying to make you laugh that it didn't make you laugh, I look down on you as an intellectual person anyways at that point, because like there's no comic ever got on stage with the intention of like, I'm gonna go up here and offend everybody. It's never happened, in my opinion. Maybe I'm wrong, but I don't care. I think you can say anything on stage if it's funny enough. That's what I believe.
Yeah, it's as far as comedy, I don't think I've been bothered by a lot of things what a comic says. Some got their topics, some have their ideas, ideologies, things like that.
Mm.
Yeah, but as long as it's funny, man, as long as you bust a couple smiles here and there, I feel like, yeah, it feels like comedy is the only thing when people are handicapped and you're trying to say some things and whatnot. It's not like that with music or movies. It's like
No,
comedies, the only thing that people feel handicapped. And
I don't
so
think they should. I don't think they should. It is harder. Don't get me wrong. It is harder. I'm still hitting roadblocks. Like none of the local clubs mess with me or anything. Besides, they'll let me go do their open mics. But as far as like putting me on, I still struggle with stuff like that. Even though I blew the roof off every one of them clubs. Like I've went in there. I've had 5 or 6 times that ever who followed me ate doo-doo because they couldn't follow how good I was. Just couldn't do it. You know what I mean? Because the crowd was so loud. and so hype off my set that the next comic didn't have a shot. And they still won't like give me spots or anything. They still tell me I don't have the experience and everything. But then I go to like New York and I can get on the biggest stages in New York. And I'm going back in October and getting on the bigger stages up there. So like it's all perspective. It's all perspective when it comes to that. Like, yeah, I haven't got a home club, but I can make people laugh all over the country, so I don't care.
So speaking of New York, I'm glad you brought that up. That's definitely a big deal. This
Yeah.
young into your career, here you are on the Empire State, getting to do stand up in in New York, man. What was that
Yeah.
experience like?
That that was one of my aha moments as a comedian. Like I've found out that since I've been doing this, there's a lot of like, ah, this makes your comedy better. And in New York, the big one for me was just like seeing how some of the best in the business, because there's some of the best comedians that you haven't heard of yet, but you should have up there in New York that you could see. And seeing them and how they do stuff, and also like just going up there and realizing that I wasn't just funny in Kentucky, Ohio, and Indiana. I'm also funny in New York, which is a big deal. They say if you can be funny in New York, you can be funny anywhere. So that in turn gave me a lot of confidence. And like the performances since New York that I've done, like yeah, I've been killing places. I've been killing places. Like the set I sent you is the 50 laughs in 5 minutes. So it's 10 laughs a minute. That's every 6 seconds. And it's not little laughs, it's not giggles. It's like when they laugh. So yeah, like it pumped my comedy. Like I would say it doubled how funny I am, like going to New York did.
I do. So I did check that out before I got on the air here,
Yeah.
and like, man, that's the Chris I've known for all these years, man. He
Yeah.
wilding, and then
Yeah.
I love how you bring up the fingers, you know.
Yeah. There's my nub right there, man. You
Mm,
see my nub? I even
yeah.
got stickers that say rub the nub.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I also like how people talk about where they're from and make like some of the things that's happening out there. I mean,
Yeah.
you out here talking chicken and
Yeah.
whatnot, and that like man, Kentucky is something else.
Yeah.
I,
Kentucky's a different world
yeah,
compared to some places.
yeah, I've been living in Kentucky since the 2000s, so
Yeah.
I don't witnessed a lot of things,
A lot of things.
a lot, and it's mind boggling. Like, yeah,
Oh yeah.
it's I like Lexington. I mean, it's been my long term home, but even in Lexington or Louisville and other places, they
Yeah.
have some wild moments there. It
Yeah,
really
and it's
does.
different through Kentucky, man. Like you go somewhere like Louisville and then go to like my birthplace, man. That's two completely that might as well be two different countries, bro. It might as well. There's two different, completely different places. It's something else, man.
Yeah, man. So I'm joined with Big Dumb Chris.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
we'll get to the name, man. Like, I what makes you go with Big Dumb Chris? What's the story behind the dumb part?
It's pretty simple, man. Like on social media, Chris Elliott is definitely beating me in all categories. Chris Elliott from Scary Movie, Take My Strong Hand.
Yeah.
That actor, like I can't beat him with my real name. And several of my friends call me a big dumb ape. So I just big dumb ape. I made it big dumb Chris. That's all my name came from right there, man. Social
Uh,
media analytics, and my friends call me a big dumb ape because I do big dumb stuff sometimes. So
yeah, absolutely, man. So, you got any upcoming shows that people need to check out?
man, I really don't have a whole lot on the books right now because I'm saving up to go out of town, and nobody locals booked me, which is why I'm trying to stay through. Like, well, I've got some stuff in London and stuff coming up in February, but the next thing local will be I host a show at Twisted Cork the last Thursday of every month. I don't know what that falls on next month, February 29th. and those are they start at 7 o'clock, so door 6:37. Have you home by 9 because it's on a Thursday night. But yeah, local. I'm hardly ever on it. About as local as I get is Louisville, and I don't do a whole lot of Louisville, to be honest with you.
Yeah. So shout out to Trista Cork.
Yeah.
Shout out to Sue, Patrice, Whitney. I just found out Whitney's doing stand up now, and I know her as a singer for all these years.
She done
Man,
it once. I don't know if she'll do it again, but she was friggin' hilarious, Kenny.
oh man. Shout out to Whitney. She's always had that sense of humor
You
for
wouldn't
sure.
you wouldn't have believed her set, bro.
Yeah, I like as soon as I saw the post that she put out,
Yeah.
like, wait a minute, all these years I've known you as a singer. Now
Yeah.
you doing stand-up too? I
Yeah.
like you need to do more of this, especially in your home base of Trista Court, you
Yeah.
know. So yeah, do that, Whitney.
I
And
told her I told her she needed to do it again, man, but I don't know if she will or not. She wouldn't even put out the recording because she did some wild comedy, Kenny. She's more along my lines than she is like a clean comics line. She's closer to my style. It blew me away. I was like, wow, Whitney.
yeah,
She had
Whitney.
some wild comedy.
She 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 she's something else.
That's a
She's
good
something
thing
else.
about them too, man, is like they don't care. They my rules on like the mic. We have a mic there too on Tuesdays. Um, my rule is basically you can say anything you want on the stage as long as it don't get you beat up in the parking lot. You know what I mean? Like that's the rules to the show. So like it's very open. We're I mean we're supportive and we're like say what you want to it for. It's a comedy stage, man. Figure it out.
Yeah, man. I need all y'all to book my friend Chris, man, because I gotta see him do stand up in person one day.
They can't
Uh,
afford me. I'm getting other price range now, Kenny. I'm getting other price
oh
range
man.
now. I'm gonna go to Austin for a couple of months this year. I'm also trying to hit well, I'm gonna hit some local stuff, localish stuff too, like Michigan, Indiana, and stuff like that. But I'm just far away places. We're gonna hit Chicago, Atlanta. I'm going back to New York in October. So like, you know what, man? Like Langston and Louisville can mess with me if they want to, but I'm thinking bigger than them anyway. So
Hey, I
you know what I
mean,
mean.
it's all about expanding, you know.
Time they want me, I'm gonna hit them with a big number. They're gonna be like, "Oh man, you want a G to come to live? You live here, dog." It's what it is, man.
That's the way to go. So there's some comics in Lexington that I like.
We got
We
some
got
good ones, surprisingly. For the
yeah.
small of a comedy scene as we got good comedians.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So um check out Big Dumb Chris on social media. He's got a Facebook page. He's on Instagram as well, Mr. Dumb Chris at Instagram, and just he'll keep you posted on some shows that he's gonna be at. So so obviously the local things, we'll see what happens. Or
Oh
he's gonna
yeah.
be expanding. He's gonna be in the east, gonna be in the south.
I'll
He's
come
gonna be
anywhere but
everywhere.
Mississippi. They want me in Mississippi, and I'm not going back. It's going to be a big bag to come to Mississippi because I'm going to have to pay some lawyer fees.
Oh my goodness. That's my birth state, man. That's
Is it?
yeah.
I went to
Um
Mississippi once, and now they want me to come back to go to jail, and I ain't never going through Mississippi again. I don't like it.
oh man, yeah, that's I knew Mississippi was crazy, but yeah. Try to invite you back so you can go behind bars.
Yeah.
How about no?
No, I'll see y'all later.
Nah. Thanks, but no thanks.
Yeah.
Great chatting with you, Chris. Great to reconnect with you.
You too,
Very
brother.
happy to see that you blossom into comedy and you are evolving. You getting a
Yeah.
lot more comfortable and confident in your craft, and you definitely on to incredible things, man. And one of these days, I'll see you in stand up. It's just a matter of when.
Oh
So
yeah. Yeah,
Yeah,
it just has to work out. I see you out there somewhere anyway. You
yeah,
always somewhere.
yeah. I'm
Kenny be
moving.
moving, y'all.
Yeah, I've come a long way since I moved back
I
to
know.
Lexington. I was usually just in Lexington. Now I'm in Louisville. I'm in Indianapolis.
Yeah,
I'll be in Jeffersonville. I'll be in Cincinnati, my old stomping grounds, Columbus.
he working, y'all. He working.
Man,
Love
gotta
to
do
see it.
so it's all good, man. I'm proud of you, bro.
Hey man,
Proud
I'm
of you,
proud of you
man.
too. I see you
So
collecting them awards and stuff. I
yeah,
see you.
I got
I
another
see.
nomination. That's pretty
Heck yeah.
cool. So you take care of yourself, man. You enjoy the rest of your Monday.
You
And
too, man. Keep killing it,
we'll
brother.
likewise, man. You keep doing your thing, man. I'll see you
Shit.
soon.
They can't stop me, bro.
Appreciate you, man. You have a good night.
You too, brother.
All right.